probably seen the headlines about the rupee going up or down against the dollar and wondered, who's in charge here? Who steps in when things get a little chaotic? Well, that would be the Reserve Bank of India. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how the RBI acts as the rupee's guard, a powerful shock absorber for our currency. Let's dive in. We'll kick things off by understanding why the rupee even moves around. Then we'll get into the RBI's main toolkit, from its massive dollar reserves to its secret weapon for building global trust. And finally, we'll see how it all comes together to keep our economy steady. All right, first things first, before we can talk about the RBI's playbook, we need to understand the game itself. Why do currencies like the rupee fluctuate in the first place? Well, it all boils down to one simple idea: supply and demand. It's actually a pretty simple concept when you think about it. Imagine there's a huge demand for US dollars. Maybe importers need them to pay for goods, or foreign investors are pulling their money out. If there aren't enough dollars to go around, the price of a dollar just naturally goes up. It's not like the rupee crashes, it just kind of slides. The RBI's main job is to make sure that slide is smooth and gentle, not a chaotic freefall. And that brings us to the RBI's number one weapon, its first and most powerful line of defense: stepping directly into the market. When things get rough, the RBI brings out its multi-billion-dollar shield. And believe me, that shield is absolutely massive. As of early 2024, India's foreign exchange reserves were sitting at around $697 billion. This isn't just some abstract number. It's a real war chest, a national emergency fund that gives the RBI some serious firepower. Probably the easiest way to picture all this money is as the country's big piggy bank. It's stuffed full of foreign currencies, mostly US dollars, just waiting to be cracked open whenever there's a hint of a currency crisis. So how does the RBI actually use it? So let's walk through it. I imagine there's a bit of a panic and everyone's scrambling to buy dollars. The RBI just calmly steps in and starts selling dollars from its piggy bank. Instantly, this floods the market with dollars. And with more dollars available, the frantic demand is met, the panic cools down, and the rupee's rapid fall is stopped right in its tracks. It's the most direct way to handle the situation. Okay, but the RBI can't just throw dollars at the problem every single time. It also has some more subtle tools. These are all about controlling the flow of money into and out of India by managing things like interest rates and the amount of cash in our own system. One of the biggest levers the RBI can pull is the interest rate. See, by raising its main lending rate, what we call the repo rate, it makes investing in India a whole lot more attractive to global investors. To get those higher returns, what do they have to do? They have to buy rupees. And all that new demand for the rupee helps make it stronger. Now, here's where things get really interesting. There's a side effect to selling all those dollars from the piggy bank. When the RBI sells a dollar, it takes rupees in return, and that action actually sucks rupee cash right out of India's own banking system. If you do too much of that, you could cause a cash crunch, which is bad for local businesses. And to fix that, the RBI has this really clever move called sterilization. It's a balancing act. To prevent that cash crunch, the central bank simultaneously injects rupees back into the system, usually by buying government bonds. This sterilizes the effect of selling dollars, making sure that our own economy still has plenty of cash to run on. So let's just break that down one more time. Hiking the repo rate, that's all about pulling foreign money in from the outside. Sterilization, that's about making sure things are running smoothly right here at home. Two very different tools for two connected problems. You know, the RBI's toolkit isn't just about money. It's also about managing people's behavior. Sometimes the pressure on the rupee isn't real. It's just driven by market speculation. And that's when the RBI has to put on its referee hat. Speculation is a tricky thing. If enough traders start making big bets that the rupee is going to fall, their own actions of selling can create a wave that actually makes it fall. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and this creates a lot of unnecessary panic that has nothing to do with the real economy. So to stop this, the RBI steps in and lays down the law. It can put strict caps on how much currency exposure banks are allowed to have. It can ban complicated financial products that are used for these kinds of bets. Basically, the RBI's goal here is to crack down on unproductive speculation and keep the market calm and orderly. All right, we've covered direct actions, subtle levers, and market rules. But there's one last tool in the RBI's kit. And this one isn't about doing something, it's about being something. It's about sending a powerful message of trust to the entire world. A huge chunk of India's reserves isn't even in currency. It's in gold. We're talking about a staggering $131 billion worth. And this isn't just for decoration, it serves a really critical purpose. You can almost think of it as a golden shield. In times of global crisis, when investors get scared, they run to assets that feel safe. And gold is the ultimate safe asset. So by holding so much of it, the RBI sends a quiet, confident message. The Indian economy is stable, it's backed by real, tangible value. This builds global trust and can stop a panic before it even starts. So, when you put all these different pieces together, the piggy bank, the levers, the rules, and the golden shield, you start to see the bigger picture. You see a really sophisticated strategy. There's a principle that really sums up the RBI's whole philosophy. Its job isn't to force the rupee to be, say, 90 to the dollar. Not at all. The real goal is to contain volatility, to make sure that any movements are slow and predictable, to create a stable playing field for everyone. So here it is, the whole toolkit in a nutshell. You've got direct intervention, which is like using the piggy bank. You've got interest rate hikes to make India look profitable. You have market rules to stop wild betting. And you have gold reserves to build that global confidence. Each one plays a really important part. The RBI strategy is smart, it's dynamic, and it's built for the world we live in today. But it really makes you wonder, right? As the global economy changes with new pressures and maybe even new kinds of money, what new tools will the rupee's guard need to invent for the challenges of tomorrow?